right, buckle up. This is Musicians and Beyond, where we bring you the backstage info on the life, lyrics, and long journeys of the music industry. Last episode, we had Johnny Dupson here, and he is a New England-based singer-songwriter. Amazing guy, a lot of talent, and definitely give him a follow and check him out and download some of his music and help support his endeavors. And he goes into explaining how important it is for the listener to support the local musicians. And speaking of local musicians, we also have, well, temporarily, I guess, a New England-based singer-songwriter, Preston Lydotes. And welcome.
Thanks so much for having me.
This is awesome to have you in the studio. And it's interesting. We met a month or two ago, and we were probably 80 miles from here, from where we're recording today. And your father grew up like 2 streets away from me. Like, how bizarro is that?
It's a small world after all.
I guess so.
Like. Yeah.
I guess so. So let's talk a little bit about you. You just graduated Berkeley College. What a accomplishment that is.
I'm very grateful for the last 4 years in Boston. I was able to go to my dream college that I knew I wanted to go to since around my freshman year of high school. I was starting to get into writing songs around then, and I wanted to know if I could do that long term. And obviously the next step after high school is college, and I didn't know of any colleges who had that. And then my uncle, my dad's brother, was an alumni of Berkeley College of Music way back in the day, in I think 1968 he went, before it became a contemporary music school. But he still kept tabs on it, and he told me about the songwriting program that they had, and they offered summer camps. So I did one of those, and I loved it. And I loved meeting people from all around the world who wanted to do what I wanted to do and were just as passionate. And I said, that's where I'm going to go. So I set out to be a songwriter there and learn the craft as best as I could, and also later becoming a producer and feeling really good about those skills too.
Yeah, that's a lot of great accomplishments. So obviously you have music in your blood. You're not a first-generation musician in your family.
Yeah, I grew up with definitely my dad playing a big role on me picking up the guitar and wanting to play rock music. He was always into playing the Beatles and Rolling Stones and all those other old British bands and showing them to me, and him and my uncle as well, the one who went to Berkeley, would play out together. And we grew up, when I was growing up, we would have family jam sessions in our attic upstairs with my younger sister and my older sister. They would sing and play instruments as well. And yeah, I wanted to keep that going for the rest of my life. And it was always really fun getting to do that as a family and to do that later in school and study to do it professionally.
Yeah, what great memories you made with music.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm very grateful that my parents are also so supportive of me pursuing the arts, because I know there's a lot of talented musicians out there whose parents were never as supportive towards their careers. And yeah, I could have had a very different life. On my mom's side, I have like a political establishment family where my grandpa used to be the mayor of Somerville in the 70s. And I was very into history and stuff like that growing up. So I could have, become a political science major or something like that. And I was into teaching and English and writing and stuff like that. But music was always a consistent. And I'm very grateful that both my mom and dad and uncle and the rest of my family was supportive of me pursuing music.
Well, your dad is definitely supportive of you. I
Yes.
met you at a singing competition. It was the Seacoast Idol, and we loved what you were doing, and you made it right to the end. You
Yes.
almost got it, and that alone is amazing, because the 15 artists that started out were all unbelievable.
Right.
And for you to get to that point just kind of shows you what level you're at.
I had never really done a talent show competition like that. I think maybe I did one in middle school, but there wasn't really like a contest element to it. This was like the first time I'd ever stepped foot into one of those, and it was really fun. Everyone was so supportive, which I think I was nervous on the onset of doing it. I was worried that it would be a little cutthroat and people would, I don't know, not be as warm and encouraging as
It's
they
actually
were.
the complete opposite.
Yeah.
Everyone there is so supportive, and a lot of the people that were in that competition have joined up and have done things. And Johnny Dupes was telling us the other day that he had one of the other contestants come up and sing a couple songs during one of his sets
That's
up
awesome.
in Newburyport.
Yeah,
So
Johnny was probably one of the most supportive contestants there. I mean, he was dedicated throughout his time at the competition and came back to support all the other acts too.
he didn't miss one competition. He came back.
Class act, great songwriter and singer, and he's going to do great stuff.
Yeah, he
so
is.
everyone's going to do great stuff. I mean, Eloise, Kirkpatrick. Yeah, Eloise and Tyler, who were also in the finals. Tyler, who won, they're both super, super talented and are going to do awesome stuff. And we were just able to connect with each other and get each other's contacts for future potential collaborations, which I thought was really fun.
It's great.
And I knew from the get-go, if I was driving all the way from Boston to Salisbury, that I was never going to do a cover and drive all that way for a cover. So I tried to come every week doing an original song, and I tried to stick by that, and it pretty much worked out all the way up until the last round. And yeah, I'm grateful to have spent my Tuesdays at the deck.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. Francois did a really nice job putting that on.
He is incredible. There's no one like Francois. He's a very giving person.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful that he was able to let me back into the competition. Because when I made it past the first round, come the day of the second round the following week, I unfortunately got into a bit of a wreck. I was biking to work. I teach at School of Rock in Watertown, and I was biking down a hill, and I was trying to avoid a trash bin, but I ran into it, and I also went into a fence, and I ended up breaking my foot. And this, as of now, shooting this today, it's 5 weeks in, so I was finally able to get off crutches yesterday. But at the time, I still had to get assessed and get an x-ray, and I was like, I don't think I can come, and I was freaking out. And I told Francois about it, and then a couple days later, I'm like, can I come back, please? I want to give it another shot. And he said, okay, we'll talk. We'll talk to the others. And it was a pretty quick reply of, yeah, come on back. We want it to be a fair shot for everyone. So I'm very grateful he was able to let me back into the competition.
Yeah, he is a great guy. Yeah, the competition was really hard in the sense that I was honored to have been asked to be a judge one night.
Right.
And I'll tell you, it's super hard. And, you know, I don't even know what to say. You're sitting there with two other professionals, and they're looking at things one way, you're looking at it a different way, and, you know, it's hard to come up with a consensus. So it was really difficult to do that. But unfortunately, someone has to go.
Right.
And that's how it was. It doesn't mean you're a loser.
No.
I mean, you were a winner just to be able to get on there, because he had a couple hundred entries.
Yeah.
And he had to go through and listen to every single one, and he knocked it down to 15. And you know.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly probably wouldn't have changed a thing other than maybe not breaking my foot from the competition.
Yeah.
I think every time I played, I gave it my all. So that just was the way it was that night. And I feel like rejections and so-called failures, honestly, is just helping me care about it less.
Well, that's going to be part of the music industry anyways.
Yeah, this is not the first and only rejection I'm going to face. So if it's a microcosm of it, that's fine. And it was a really fun time, so I don't really have any kind of regrets. And I'm grateful I could just share all my original tunes.
And they were good. We would love for you to share one of your original tunes now, and then after you play it, maybe you can tell us how you came up with it and the meaning behind it.
Absolutely, yeah. I'll start it off with an original that was the lead single off of my recent EP I put out and it's called Wrong. Throw me in the jailhouse. I played with the law, disturbed our peace. Been torn up for weeks 'cause I was wrong. Well, I was raised to know better, and you were born to be the brightest light. Don't want another fight, yeah, I was wrong. I was wrong, and I'm tired of my pride being strong. If we lay in bed, will you rest your head on mine when it's time to move on? Can you sing for me again, love? Your melody is like a vital sign, and my rhythm fell behind. I was wrong. Well, there's a weight that carries while you're away. It grabs me by the chest and then it begs for you to stay. We'll be all figured out with our world on a string. So I was wrong, I owe you everything. I was wrong, and I'm tired of my pride being strong. If we lay in bed, will you rest your head on mine when it's time to move on? I was wrong, and I'm tired of my pride being strong. If we lay in bed, will you rest your head on mine?
Awesome. How did you come up with that song and the story behind it?
Yeah, this one is definitely a vulnerable one for sure. Yeah, in a relationship of mine, I definitely messed up, and I wanted to take accountability for it, and I just came up with this song. In the moment, I feel like when you go through interpersonal struggles, it's hard for you to come up with an apology on the spot that feels sincere. So in a way, me writing this song was me trying to come up with that thoughtful apology. And I wanted to try and emphasize that I was sick of making excuses, and I just felt really bad. It's kind of a self-explanatory one,
Yeah.
but it came from a real place and me wanting to do better for my
And
partner.
do all of your songs come from a real place or some hypothetical?
They vary in terms of direct experience when writing them. I think this one leaned a bit more into a specific situation. I have other songs, other love songs too, that might reminisce on a past relationship, or at least a detail that gets kind of exaggerated and made more dramatic for a song. And then I have other songs that are just about overall moods too. So I try to keep stuff sometimes broad, big picture, and sometimes zooming in on a specific moment. And this was one of those specific moment songs for sure.
Great. And you have a ton of songs out there, and you can find them on YouTube and iTunes and everywhere where you find your music, and you have some EPs and everything.
Yeah, I just recently put out an EP called Stranger at Best this past July. July? I had to think about it. There's so much that I'm trying to schedule. This past July, and it's my proudest batch of songs that I've worked on. Kind of like a love letter to my college years making music, because a lot of them I made for my classes, my engineering, production, songwriting based classes. I would get to use a lot of the facilities at my college and then also do a lot in my bedroom, which I'm hoping to do in my own home studio in 8 days when I move down to Nashville.
I was just going to touch on that. We got some news to release here about Preston. He's packing up, and he's going down to Nashville, Tennessee. And what a step that is.
I'm kind of tweaking a little, as some people say. Yeah. I've never lived outside of Massachusetts ever. Like, I went to Berkeley, which was right in Boston, so I've been lucky with having my parents close by. So I'm definitely going to feel homesick, but I'm also very ready to leave and branch out and be in a big music community outside of college. So I'm excited. Nashville's awesome. It's such a warm community of songwriters. Some are local, some who've traveled, who are all just prioritizing their craft like so much. And I respect that a lot. And it's really affordable, definitely more affordable than Boston. And there's tons of places to play out live. Right. I ended up also visiting LA to check out that area as well to see if it was viable, and I really didn't resonate with the scene over there, at least where I am right now as an artist, still in the early stages. A lot of smoke and mirrors over there, and influencer types, which just really isn't my kind of artistry. I really try to value like the craft of the songwriting and love interpersonal relationships with songwriters that don't just feel transactional, which is what a lot of word of mouth from LA kind of has that element to it. And no shade to anyone who's out in LA and who's doing well, and there's a ton of great people and very accomplished artists who are out that way. Yep. But Nashville just really spoke to me, and I have a ton of friends down there who I'm excited to meet with and collaborate with and have a good time with.
Pretty ballsy move to pack up and just go down there.
In one car worth of stuff. Yeah, I was like, I'm going to get a U-Haul and do a one-way move. Nope, that costs a big portion of my bank account right now. Yeah.
Well, that's super exciting. We wish you the best of luck doing
Thank
that.
you. I'm always going to come back. In fact, I didn't mention this to you before, but I recently was just invited to open for a band called Co-Pilot at Brighton Music Hall on Saturday, September 13th. Excellent. So for those of you watching or listening and you're near Boston, feel free to show up.
How do people get tickets? Do you know?
So there is a Ticketmaster link that I'm going to have up in my social media bio too. You can follow me on anything at my name, Preston Lydotes. And you can also go to Co-Pilot's website and social media, and you'll find it there as well.
Super exciting.
Yeah, so I will always come back to Boston and New England to play shows and see family.
Well, you're going to have to come in and give us an update of what the heck
absolutely.
Going on.
We'll do a part 2.
There you go. So when you go down there, do you have anything planned yet, or are you just kind of going down blind and you're just going to let the ball roll?
A lot of it is kind of blind, but I do have a house secured and sort of the home studio in mind. I have a remote day job that I'm working at the moment, and I have some contacts in the Broadway band scene that I'm thinking about getting into. My goal while I'm in Nashville is to really hone in on making the best batch of songs that I can And I've saved up a fair amount of money just working a lot of part-time jobs in Boston. Like I was an audio engineer at Berkeley and also at a couple other local music venues. I was scooping ice cream. I've been teaching. I've been saving up a fair amount to go in a little blind to Nashville and try to make my home studio artist dreams work. So yeah, that's the goal, is to set that facility up so I can just make the best creative environment possible and have my day job serve as enough to get by and get me to the point where hopefully I'm getting some traction with my songs.
Nice. There's so many musicians down there, and they're so good.
Yeah.
What are you going to do as Preston Lydotes to stand out from the others?
Oh, you sound like my parents.
I'm about the
No,
same age.
yeah, and from the same area.
Same neighborhood.
Yeah, I think I ask myself this question a lot, especially when trying to be present online on social media. And I think there's an element of, this is kind of simple, but just being myself and not trying to be someone who I'm not. Because if I try to put on an act or a character that doesn't feel like me, then it's just not going to resonate with people. I think that being myself personality-wise and not covering any emotions in my songs, like talking about some uncomfortable stuff and feelings that might not feel as pretty in my music, will resonate with a lot of people. And I think, yeah, it's just being yourself, honestly. I think too many people are afraid to do that, and that's what makes them not go far enough.
Right. So when you go down on the Broadway Strip down there, like we said, there's a million venues, there's musicians everywhere. Do you plan on playing covers or originals?
On the Broadway Strip, it's definitely more of a cover band
That's what I was
scene,
gonna
and
say.
I play a lot of 3-hour bar sets around Boston of tons of covers. They're definitely more country-centric, so I'm going to have to beef up my country repertoire a bit. And playing those kinds of gigs, it's definitely to help out with my rent and living situation. But there's also a lot of other East Nashville venues. Like there's this place called The Basement where a lot of rock or singer-songwriter or whoever, R&B pop artists will go and play their own original music. So those Broadway venues, a lot of them are covers based, but if the crowd's into it, you could throw in an original and see how it pans out. Yeah, Nashville's got all kinds of venues to play, not just cover ones, but a lot of them are.
Like you said, once you get outside that Broadway area, you have the Bluebird, you have like the Troubadour,
Right.
you have all these other venues that the people go in there and it's all original music.
Absolutely. I think that's what drew me to Nashville as well, is just the value and respect that a lot of residents have there for singer-songwriters. And where I am in my artist career right now, being in the early stages, that support system is so important because, I'd be lying if I didn't say some days I'm like, is this worth it? And I have to take a step back and remember that this is the thing that brings me the most joy and feels like I'm expressing myself the best way, and having other people around you who affirm that and tell you what the art that you make matters, especially in a time where technology is often trying to replace that kind of art, which is a whole other conversation, and I definitely have strong opinions about it. But yeah, that kind of support and respect that people in Nashville have for original music is something that drew me to it a lot.
Okay, so the spot that you are right now in your career, 5 years ago, if you were to give yourself some advice 5 years ago for today, what would you have changed to get to the point that you're at right now?
Ooh. What would I have changed in terms of to get
It
to
could
this
be
current
nothing.
point, or get to a
Yeah,
different point?
to get to this point, and then we're going to talk about the future.
Okay.
But it could be nothing. You could have, really set it up the way you wanted to get where you were, or do you think you could have done something different?
I mean, this is talked about probably by most songwriters my age, but not caring about what other people think is a huge thing in the age of social media and comparing yourself and trying to get a certain number of likes to feel worthy of making your art. Like, that's total bullshit. And trying to get caught up in the numbers will just only bring your self-esteem down and hinder you from creating and making the exact art that you want, which oftentimes, if it's really good art, will speak to so many people. So if I was able to tune that noise out a bit more, especially in early college, high school, that's fine. That's just a part of growing up, like worrying about what other people think. And in fact, it kind of eventually made me feel different and cool. High school was a weird time. I'm going through so many different
That's
tangents.
all right. We love it. That's what we're here for.
Yeah. Towards the pandemic, when that happened, I was a junior in high school, so I was supposed to take the SATs, and they got waived. And everyone was home from school, and being already self-conscious of myself and feeling different because no one around me felt like they were really into music or were serious about making music, I started to embrace that and embrace the fact that me being an outcast would push me to work harder and prove them all wrong. So that sense of like insecurity did end up working in my favor, but I think come college, where everyone at Berkeley was so accepting and talented, and instead of using that to motivate me, I think I kind of got a little intimidated and had that imposter syndrome moment where I used to be so unique and cool. I thought I was cool with my special career that I want, but now everyone wants to do the same thing. I had to take a step back, do some soul searching, and realize that that's great that everyone else wants to do the thing that you want, because your success or their success does not take away from yours or theirs.
Right.
And that's just a big lesson that I wish I learned and stuck by throughout Berkeley. But you have to kind of go through it.
Yeah, of course.
So going to Nashville now, where, like you said, it's a huge hub, super saturated with so many talented people, I don't see that anymore as a negative. I see
it could push you.
It could push me to be better, and also, like, it's a collaborative city. Like, I could work with those people and make my art better and make their art better. So I want that to serve as uplifting other creatives.
Excellent. And then let's go forward. Where do you think you're going to be in 5 to 10 years
I
from
hope that I'm headlining clubs by that point, and I would love to have some sort of team behind me. I mean, doing all this on my own, with, some advice here and there from my Berkeley peers or teachers is cool, and it's very informative, but I think hopefully by that point I will have hit a traction level with my music where I require a manager and an assistant with social media, and so I can really hunker down and focus on the art. And so many people have different opinions on this. Other people are like, no one's going to work as hard as you. You have to make sure that you're into everything. And the truth is I haven't really been super passionate about some of the business side of my artistry. Obviously, I care, and I'm going to bite my tongue and do it because that's where I am right now. But I hope at that point I have a team around me. I'm playing clubs 5 years from now. I don't know, somewhere like the Sinclair or Paradise Rock Club equivalent level would be awesome. And I'd love to have the home studio up and running.
Fun.
I'd love to have opened for someone at Red Rocks, maybe. That would be awesome. And have a song featured in a Netflix thing could be super cool. All these little big picture stuff. I'd love to play a festival. Yeah.
Yeah, you get a lot of aspirations. And
I guess
none of them are really unobtainable.
No, and 5 years from now, I'm 27. I have to, conceptualize that. So I'm 22 right now. If I'm 27, yeah. Hopefully I will have hit all those by then. But I just hope I'm happy and I'm not as hard on myself with my music and my interactions with, my friends and family. I don't want to be as anxious, I think. I think that's something that I'm ready to graduate from.
Mm-hmm. And that comes with time and experience.
Yeah.
And you could see that in the contestants of Seacoast Idol.
Yeah.
The very first week, I mean, they were good, don't get me wrong, but they're a complete different person in the last week than they were the first week. They've learned different things, crowd interactions and levels and whatever goes along with it. There's so much that goes into, getting up on stage and singing.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely learned a lot about. I think I felt reaffirmed throughout Seacoast Idol that once again, just not bullshitting the crowd and playing a cover that doesn't feel like you, or a song that you don't feel strong about, and just being yourself was kind of the name of the game for that competition. So I definitely learned a lot there. And yeah, interacting with the crowd is super important.
It is huge. It is huge. So when a judge gave you possibly negative feedback, how do you take that? Do you think in your head and go, screw you, I'll do what I want, and then just smile?
For the first,
okay, thank you?
yeah,
or,
for the first 3 seconds, it's like, what the hell? What are you talking
what do
about?
you mean?
I hate to toot my own horn, but I didn't experience a lot of that. But in the moments where I did, you just gotta take it in as a subjective comment it has value, and you can choose to agree or say, you know what, I don't know if I fully agree. So I hear what you're saying, but I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing.
Doing you.
Yeah.
And you said that before. Be authentic.
That's the name of the game, I think, with art, just in general.
All right. Let's see if we can get another song out of you.
Yes. I'm going to do a crazy tuning, so bear with
right.
me. It's called The Critic in Me. I've been stuck, unable to sleep, when I'm alone and feeling beat. Breathing hurts, the air's too thick. The thought of being forgotten, well, it makes me sick. Yeah, being forgotten, well, it makes me sick. 'Cause it's true, I'm still the boy who wants to dream. Been caught in the loop with the critic in me. Never impressed with 90%. Anything less than describe my intent. But as a child, it was worth it, the price to be perfect. Now I'm just nervous to try. Oh, yeah, it's true. I'm still the boy who wants to dream. Been caught in the loop with the critic in me. Yeah, I know I'm impatient and the internet's a lie. Someone's gotta tell me I'll be alright. No, it's never been easy for anyone who loves your broken optimist who never live enough. It's true, I'm still the boy who wants to dream. I'm caught in the loop with the critic in me. I know I'm impatient and the internet's a lie. Someone's gotta tell me I'll be alright. No, it's never been easy for anyone who loves your broken optimist who never live enough. It's true, been caught in the loop.
Preston Lydotes. Another great song. I could actually see that song in a Netflix series. It was
Oh my gosh!
It's
thank you.
it's a very movie-esque song.
I really, really appreciate that. Yeah, it was a lot of fun to make too, and I have to shout out the co-writer of that, my partner in crime, Claire Hudson, who is a fantastic co-writer, and that one took like a million rewrites to just get exactly what I wanted to articulate. Just, dealing with imposter syndrome and wanting to still believe in your dreams, even though it's hard. And yeah. So shout out Claire. She has a solo project as well called Clara K, and it's fantastic, and I also help produce her music too.
Yeah, we'll have to check her out. Maybe we can get her on here sometime.
I mean, she's coming with me to Nashville, but when we're back up in Boston.
That would be great.
We got to get her on.
That'd be great. So that song in particular, you said, took a long time to do. A lot of rewrites and so forth.
Yeah.
When you write a song, is that the normal process, or does some of them really come easy?
When I first started writing songs, it felt a lot easier at the time because I think I had a much lower standard of what I considered to be good songwriting for myself. And looking back on those songs, they were definitely a bit cringy and cheesy and primitive, but I could see the skill and talent that was like developing. And then nowadays, I always in my leather book that I write songs in, I always try to date when I start the song and when I finish the song, just to, I don't know, my own metrics that I like to keep in my head of when I work on something. It's definitely a wider date range. It can range from months. Recently, I've been revamping a song that I wrote 2 years ago and didn't fully love, so it can be an extensive process. Other times, it can be a couple days. Mm-hmm. It's unfortunately a very random process, and this one, when did I start writing it? It feels like forever ago. It was probably a year and a half ago, and that writing process took about half a year, I'd say, to fully flesh out, and then another couple months to produce and record.
Yeah, so song depending is how.
Yeah, song
okay.
Depending. Very
Song
random.
depending. Awesome. What do you have in the works right now besides packing up and going to Nashville? Do you have any music in the works? Are you currently writing?
So I put out this EP that took a good year and a half or so to make, and I'm starting up the next batch of songs. In today's sort of listening environment, there is the push for every artist to release singles, and singles only, because people's attention spans are getting really small, and if you're undiscovered still, that's all they're going to have interest in, is just one song at a time. So I tried to adopt that mentality of, with this EP I put out, releasing each song as a single. So there was one bonus track when it came to the final 5 songs, and to some of my close friends, that was a controversial decision by me to do, but I feel like it helped gain a lot of ears on those songs. And with this next batch of songs I'm working on, I'm floating the idea of doing an album, which I've never done, but I'm really intrigued by the idea of making a larger concept batch of songs. And I've written the first few, so it's coming along. I also want to make sure all the songs are essentially like 90% done before starting to like record or promote any of them, because I was kind of chasing my coattails with this past EP, where I would finish a song and then I would start to promote it, and if I got good reactions, I'd have to scramble to finish it, and it wasn't a sustainable schedule for me. So I'm going to be coming up with hopefully a way to be more sustainably active online and promoting my music that's in the works. I definitely want to still hint at behind the scenes and show that I'm active in making music, but I want to, before I start releasing, I want to make sure everything is done.
Right, I get it.
Yeah.
And your songs obviously have multiple instruments in it.
Yeah.
Do you have certain musicians that you work with, or do you just go out and get hired guns to do the drums and the other instruments?
Yeah, a lot of them are all just connection based. Pretty much all of them I met through Berkeley. With The Critic of Me, the song I just played, I was never fully satisfied with my own production on it, and I wanted to get someone who's a little more seasoned in the pop rock indie alternative realm. And I found out about this workshop that was going on in New York City. It was called Antisocial Camp, which I guess is the largest songwriting camp in the world. And they had this free summit that Saturday where we could go and meet random songwriters and make a song with them and meet some producers. And the producer I met there, super friendly guy, his name's Michael Go. And we hit it off, just connecting and talking about music. And I had his name in the back of my mind. And with this song, when I was hitting a dead wall with my own production, I reached out and I said, hey, I'd love for you to add your sonic flair to it. And I sent him what are called the stems. And for those of you who aren't familiar with audio production, that's just all the individual audio files. I sent them his way, and he added some cool sound design elements and some processing that made it super slick and modern. And yeah, that's the main sort of non-Berkeley connection that I've had with players on my records. But a lot of it's also, again, I don't like tooting my horn, but a lot of it is me doing my own guitar recording, my own bass recording, my own vocals. I recorded a mandolin on, I guess that was a record of Clara Kay's, but I try to play as much as I can on my own, and even programming drums. And then I'm not at the stage of a drummer where I can record my own drums yet, but that's actually the goal in Nashville, is to have a drum recording room where I can get experience and then just not talk to anyone if I don't have to.
So you reach out to other people for advice and help in, the musical talents. Do they ever do the same for you?
Yeah, for sure. And I also forgot to mention gang vocals. I always will have like all my musician friends, or even
a lot of fun. Those are fun.
Or even, those are the most fun sessions. Like perhaps another song I'll be playing, there's a great gang vocal section that I have on that one. Sorry, repeat that question.
Do you ever play on other people's music?
Yes. Oh, yes, that's right. So I said earlier, I work with my girlfriend's project, Clara Kay. I help produce all her music, and I play the guitars and bass and vocals. And also, there's another Berkeley-based artist who's really, really talented, who's also moving to Nashville, and her name's Lily Crow, and I help produce her songs, also playing guitar and bass and sing sometimes. Largely in a producer role is where a lot of my collaborations happen. I'll sometimes be asked to play guitar or sing for someone at a live event, and just those kinds of collaborations are really fun to do.
Right, and you're kind of a one-stop shop. You do it all. Do you have any preference, not to negate any of the parts of the process, but would you rather play, or would you rather produce, or do you just enjoy doing a little bit of everything and having a final product?
Nothing beats playing live. I stand by that. Nothing beats playing live. And I actually remember saying this when I was on your buddy Drew Mulholland's show.
Drew.
But
I want to be just like him when I grow up.
He's funny. He's a great guy.
He is a great guy.
And nothing beats playing live. I love recording. I love feeling like a mad scientist. But I also feel like writing was my first love with music, so I feel like I'd put that over recording just by a little bit.
Yeah. And it's interesting how the whole song transforms. You might go in there with one idea. In the end, might be a completely different song than you started.
Yeah, absolutely. I've had plenty of those. I've had plenty of patchwork songs, I like to call them, where it's a seed that I write, like a fragment of a song, and then I can't write anymore. And then I start writing another song months later, and then I stuck. And so I go back to other songs to get inspired, and I'm like, hey, what if that went together with that? And then, oh, they work together as their own song. So, excuse me. I've had plenty of those. And yeah.
Okay, I get it. So this is Musicians and Beyond. Make sure you follow us on all your social media under Musicians and Beyond. And also give our guests a follow and check out his music. And before we close up the show here, we're going to see if we can squeeze one more incredible song out of you.
I'd love to. Thank you so much again for having me on
This is awesome to
wonderful
have you,
show.
and we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much. I got one more crazy tuning to go to. All I want is a little bit of freedom, time, cash, more than just enough to break even. The day begins, I blink, and then it's already over. Baby comes and tells me I should get to know her. Sorry, darling, I can't come home. Boss is working me the bone. Well, it's 9 to 5, then 5 to 9. I'm killing myself, thinking I'll survive. Staying up late to get a taste of life. 'Cause the world is old and I'm still young, but soon enough my time will come, and when it does, am I gonna be happy when this 9 to 5, 5 to 9 is done? Wash the floor and mop. Well, fuck that, I'm getting out of town. My babe and I, we don't mess around. Gotta run, get up and go. Ferris Bueller knew how to roll. 'Cause it's 9 to 5, then 5 to 9. I'm killing myself, thinking I'll survive. Staying up late to get a taste of life. 'Cause the world is old and I'm still young, but soon enough my time will come, and when it does, am I gonna be happy when it's 9 to 5, 5 to 9, 9 to 5, 5 to 9, 9 to 5, 5 to 9 is done. Bum bum, bum bum, bum bum, bum bum, bum bum, bum bum. Everybody's gotta make another cent. We break ourselves till there's nothing left. Yeah, everybody's gotta make another cent. We break ourselves till there's nothing left. Yeah, we break ourselves till there's nothing left. Oh, it's 9 to 5. The 5 to 9. Oh, 9 to 5. Then a 5 to 9. 5 to 9. Oh. Ooh.
Preston Lydotes with 5 to 9. If anyone's going to be down in Nashville, you got to see this guy live. Make sure you follow him, check out his schedule, find out where it's going to be. I actually got to book myself a trip now. I want to get down and see you. I love Nashville.
Oh, thank you. You got a spare bedroom.
All right, cool. Even better. So, no, this was awesome. Great afternoon, great music, great energy, great stories, everything. And we wish you the best of luck. And we like to think that our guests come into the studio as acquaintances, which we are and leave as a friend. So we want to thank you for coming into Musicians and Beyond studio and being our friend.
Thanks for being my friend and having me on this awesome show.
Thanks.